Mason bees and leafcutter bees come in these tubes. They're in there, see how that's plugged on that end, and on that end is where they'll come out when the temperatures are steady 55 degrees. That's interesting. So let's show you how to put these out. And I went ahead and bought a commercially built bee house, but we offer these kits for sale as well for the house, and then you have to buy your own tubes, but these tubes have bees in them. You can get them with bees or without bees from Mason Bees online, for sale online. Okay, so we had a friend show up. It's Kifa, right? And we've been solving the world's problems. But we're about to put up the solitary bees, and I told her that I'll give the little lecture, and you may not see her on camera, but you'll hear her reaction. Yeah, she's clapping. Okay, solitary bees. They come in tubes. And they're solitary bees because they do not form hives. They live alone. And what they do is they come out, and they're the first bees to emerge, the mason bees. They come out and they pollinate the almonds and the plums and the blueberries. One solitary bee does the work of 120 honeybees. They don't sting. They only go 200 feet from where you put them. So you literally will point them toward the gardens that you want them to work. Okay?
Yeah, that's one of my
So what do we do? How do we provide housing for them? We build these bee houses. And you put them on, if you look at the post here, the 4x4, it's got 2 bee houses on it already. We may take the bee house I just showed you to the backyard, but you face them southeast so the morning sun wakes them up, and they come out and they fly over to the fruit trees and the fruit bushes, pick some pollen. They fly back to the house they just came out of, find an empty tube, and then they put their egg at the end of the far down in the tube, take a piece of leaf or mud, depending upon when they're the leaf cover or mason bees that come out later in the season, and then they go do it again until they've laid probably 40 or 50 eggs. Then they die, and then they come back next year, hopefully. Now, I haven't replenished my bees in several years, so this year I am replenishing just in case, and I'll show you why I thought I had to do that. Charlie, you want to grab the other tubes in the little boxes? So, yeah, come on in and see. Now, Tifa may be wondering why we don't take these stems.
Yeah, I actually was. Yes.
You were? Well, these stems are hollow, and you just heard me say that they lay their eggs in stems. So in the stems, we've got insects, beneficial insects for the garden, living, waiting for the weather to warm up, and they come out. So when the weather is consistently like above 75 to 80, I know that everything will have hatched, and then we'll come and cut it. And we lay it in place so it gives back to the earth the way it's supposed to. But here we are. And I want to show you what the birds have done. They have pulled the old tubes out. This bee house, you see, it's all full, and the tubes in here are plugged with red clay. Those are mason bees. Because the leaf cutters are usually, you see, plant material. So those are all mason bees, and it looks like they've started to hatch. I hope they have, because the fruit trees are starting to bloom. But can you all see? See the ones that are kind of where the The mud has been pushed aside. So we're going to need to stuff empty tubes in any hole here. And up here we have mason bees in a box that we'll put in here. But right now I have these. And these will go here. And I tell you what, the birds are naughty. They come sit up on the roof here and catch the bees as they come out. I've also seen the wrens over with the honeybee hives eating honeybees as they come out in the morning. So all we're going to do is stuff this here once I clear the plastic off of it. It's that easy, y'all. Okay, this is distressing. These look like these eggs are dead, but they may have dried out in the refrigerator. So what we're going to do is put them here, and hopefully they'll come out. All right, I'm going to have to notify the man who bought the bees from, because that looks like frass in there. The bees did not survive the winter, but there might be a few live ones. So we're going to stick that in here. Alrighty, so now to the backyard. So Charlie's hanging the new bee box on our fence, which is facing south. Oh.
I have to get a different screw. It does not have enough.
Yeah, he's going to have to get a different screw and hang that for me.
Actually, I probably need to carry this with me so I can find one that'll work.
Yeah. All right, Charlie's going to work his magic. Yeah, they hear us.
Yeah, the neighbors behind. Their girls always come visit.
You see, that's not hard at all. Now he's going to grab the one that's on the ground that bugs may have eaten all the babies. Let's see what the back looks like, hon.
I have to rebuild it.
He's going to have to rebuild it because... Oh, look, you see, it's got all the mason bees are in it.
Yep. We got plenty of those that are plugged up.
What does the back look like? They just rot out? It's only 10 years old.
Yeah, it rotted out. See the screw hose.
So we're just going to have to put a new piece of wood here.
Yeah.
And Charlie can do that nifty quick. And then it'll go back up on those holes there. Again, we do sell the kits to make these houses. And I can't give you a price because I don't know what wood is right now. And if you follow what things are costing at the Home Depot, you can appreciate why we have to charge what we have to charge. It's all going to depend. And Home Depot has stopped selling culled wood. It used to be we could go pick up pieces of wood for 70% off, and we can't do that anymore. So if you're interested, inquire. It comes with instructions on how to put them together. Okay, this is Kiefer. I've got the camera on me. What do you think about your quick little class here on...
I love it.
You love it?
I love it. Yeah, I would love to get some bees. And I'm learning a lot because I didn't realize that we had a native bee. and I thought all bees made honey. But I do have a question, and this is probably good for your viewers.
Okay.
If you didn't have bees, would your garden still produce?
No.
Not nearly as much.
So
I
it's
mean, like
important.
10%.
The leafy greens, yeah.
So it's important. If I want to start a garden, I need to have.
Yeah, you need to have pollinators.
Some type of pollinator.
That's why you see people plant vegetables and pollinator attracting flowers and things.
Farmers are beginning to realize that if they go against their fence row and plant flowers, it brings in.
Okay.
So the farmers have figured out that if they were to plant a strip of flowers around their fence lines, if the pollinators come in to pollinate those plants, and it gives them enough food that they can also pollinate everything else. So nowadays farmers have started actually, instead of killing everything, to release strips of flowers. And some of them even just the ground cover types just go ahead and plant, flowering crops across their land and just put strips of their crops in between that.
And that's plenty for the bees to do their work.
It attracts them in, and while they're there, they get a grocery store instead of just a flower to harvest. And
it's kind of like the pollinator version of integrated pest management. With integrated pest management, you don't kill off all the pests. You got to have a few left to feed the predator bugs. Those predator bugs then keep the pest bugs from ever exploding, having a population explosion.
Yeah, that makes absolute sense.
Thank you. So you've had quite a lecture today, haven't you?
Yes. Yeah, so my last question on the bees, the carpenter bees.
They are important pollinators, and if you give them tubes that are big enough, if you look at the diameter of the hole that they burrow in, and give them an alternate, they'd much rather go to the prefab house than have to dig. Yeah. And then you put Vicks Vapor Rub, I'm not going to put you on camera, Vicks Vapor Rub or paint around their hole, they'll go find,
Wow, because that is a big problem here in Georgia.
Yeah.
Is carpenter bees.
Carpenter bees,
Yeah, and I don't ever want to harm a pollinator.
Yeah, they're important pollinators.
The alternate.
Moths also pollinate. Ants pollinate. Wasps pollinate.
That's a whole nother conversation about the moths.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not convinced on the moths.
Oh no, we've got very, very important moths.
I am not convinced on moths.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's only a few that get into your house and eat your clothing.
Oh, well, those few seem to enter my house and eat my clothing. So
the ones out in your garden you want in your garden.
So this is one of the struggles. One of the struggles is I don't want to kill any of that stuff. However, I want to spend time in my yard without the struggle of in the evening all the moths flying around.
You got that many moths?
Actually, I do.
Send them up here.
I have so many. I had like an outbreak. I always feel like in the summertime I can't spend time in my yard because between the moths and I do the citronella for the mosquitoes, but they're just always one step ahead of me. That is the problem.
So what you want to do is attract bats. You want to attract insect-eating animals like birds and lizards.
I need more.
Well,
and I have geckos. I have all of that, but I need more.
Let me ask you a question. Do you rake your leaves in the fall?
I have somebody come and blow them and bring them up.
Because that's where all your beneficial insects that will eat those are trying to survive underneath the leaves. So you don't rake them up. You can blow them up under the trees that they fell from. That way they're feeding the trees as they decompose the way the Creator intended, while they allow the beneficial animals, the animals being anything that eats the pests, to overwinter and stay warm enough to survive the winter.
So I'll do that.
It's going to take a couple of years now for it to build back.
Yeah,
we can't see the bat house here. See, we have a bat house, and we actually have seen bats coming in and out of that. That's up next to our weather station.
That's true. So, yeah. Back
Okay, so let's sign off before the phone dies. Hold. Okay, so subscribe, thumbs up. I think she's going to put bunny ears behind Charlie. Y'all come back. Bye.